to another live of mine. So in today's video, might as well say live stream, I wanted to give some words of encouragement on behalf of a lot of you people who feel like you're a failure because you may be a loner, you may not have any friends. For instance, for a lot of my people who may happen to be introverted, may happen to be either introverted, quiet, therefore, hold on, and I'm sorry about that. For all my people who may happen to be either introverted or quiet, you in most cases may not have a big circle. Some of you may happen to have friends, but maybe one person you could call an actual true loyal friend. On the other hand, a lot of you may not have friends at all. It may have, due to you not being as gregarious or talkative as a lot of other people who I would consider extroverts, you may feel like a complete failure. For instance, let's just say you may happen to be a person who may have been on your job for over 5 years, and you are basically the type of person who just likes to come to work, do your job, and go home. You never get into any drama. You never are engaged in any kind of gossip. And with that being said, you had one of the most hardest of times making friends and connecting with your coworkers. And I'm referring to my people who may work at places by the likes of either manufacturing slash assembly plants slash warehouses, because those are the main types of workplaces that are flooded with several toxic people. I mean, people by the likes who may happen to be convicted felons, however, was given a second chance to, you can say, redeem themselves by being able to get a job working at a place of that nature. From those type of people to lots of women who may have never been married, however, may have several kids by several different men. Even people who may have actually been fired, may have worked at, may have gotten hired at that same place of employment of yours, but due to them doing things by the likes of, hi Jeff and Mike, thanks for joining the live stream. Due to them doing things by the likes of being a drug addict, and some people going as far as consuming drugs or narcotics on a job, they may have ended up losing that same job of yours at that same workplace of employment. If not that, drinking alcohol on the job, which shouldn't be allowed at all. If not that, usually fighting on the job, and may have ended up getting terminated because of those types of circumstances. Whereas you, on the other hand, may have been on that same job once again for over 5 years, only to still be able to keep your job, never getting into any kind of fights, altercations, having a perfect attendance record. And to be honest, in reality, you are a winner. If you look at it in those terms, you may feel like you are a failure as far as making friends and being able to connect with others on the job. But when you look at things from a realistic standpoint, a realistic perspective, you are a winner. To be honest, and I would like to compare you to, a lot of you, to the former basketball player Michael Jordan, someone who led the league in being one of the most greatest players in all kinds of categories, from being the NBA Defensive Player of the Year, the All-Star Game MVP multiple times, the Slam Dunk Contest champion 2 times, also becoming the NBA Finals MVP quite a bit of times. I could go on and on. You are the Michael Jordan when it comes to your workplace, because You're so perfect. Once again, you never ever have gotten involved in any kind of gossip, never have gotten involved in any kind of altercations, even when it may have came times when people may have tried to push your buttons, so to speak, co-workers from bosses, supervisors, managers to co-workers, just because you may not happen to fit in with a lot of other people, just because you may not talk a whole lot. You may just come to, once again, work to do your job and make an honest living, go home at the end of the day. You, by the grace of the Most High, were allowed to still tough it out on that job. In some cases, after being on that same job for 10 years, in some cases longer than that, after all the temptation you may have been through, all the times people who may have not liked you due to you staying to yourself, due to you basically being a person who may come to work, do your job, and go home. Have your strictly focus on usually coming to work to mind your business and make an honest living. You are a winner in those terms, in spite of how you may feel like a loner, in spite of not being able, or in regards to not being able to connect, not being able to connect with anybody on a job. I don't care if you may be a person with literally no friends on the job at all. You are a winner if you look at it from that perspective. Anyways, make sure before I end this live to like, share, comment, last but not least, subscribe to the channel. And until next time, I'm out.